Last week we were here. We continue our journey here again. Lina lame ke Lorato Khomolemo. Welcome to the Financial Wellness Program, brought to you by the Department of Treasury in the Free State. We are again at Olwazini in Gauteng. Re ba re le ra re kopa go dula ba re sontse lo tsamaya go siame. Ba re batla re tlogela re nne ganyana. This week we are coming to you speaking about financial wellness. Now, we know all kinds of wellness: mental wellness, physical wellness, emotional wellness. But we want to tie it this week with financial wellness because we believe if you are altogether well, you are able to lead a healthy lifestyle. Ga ke tsamaye ke le esi jaaka tlwaelo, because these things tse re di buang tse di thata tse le nna ba nthuta ha re bua ka tsone. Zweli, good morning.
Morning.
How are you?
I'm well, thanks, and how are you?
Welcome back.
Thank you so much.
I see when I ask that we do not go, you also agree to stay.
Of course, I wasn't going to miss on this opportunity.
Tell our people at home who you are.
So my name is Zweli Twala, Key Account Manager from FNB. Thank you.
Hey man, when you look at Zweli, powder yeah. He's getting used to the television thing. How are you doing?
I'm good, yourself?
Welcome back.
Thank you, it's good to be back.
We were in Clarence.
Yes, the beautiful place.
Yeah, the audience was calling you the house lady.
I remember.
Do you remember when she was a favorite? Yeah. She was a favorite. Mewa matlo. Mewa matlo buile. Are you well?
I'm very well.
Introduce yourself to our people.
Dumelang bakhe, so my name is Mivuyo Palentulo and I look after affordable housing at Nedbank.
Good. Brabi?
Hi.
Granduzet?
Lek, how are you?
Ushap?
Kimoja, man.
Let's introduce ourselves.
Right, good day everybody. My name is Benny Mvala, and I look after acquisition in Central Free State. Thank you.
Who was Wasuka polished.
I'm telling you, kisalisa sama. Sebitsang sama. Saka lisa
body.
Sheba. Yeah.
Are you
revamped? Well? I'm good. I'm you, my sister. I'm good.
Lynn.
Yeah. Yeah, Galbona.
Introduce yourself.
My name is Winnie Kamulani. I'm a financial advisor from Win Pro Financial Services, and I'm so happy to be here. And it's almost summer, so
it's almost summer,
listen,
right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Ronako Free State. It's so cold.
Really?
But I hear you guys had snow.
Yes.
How was that?
Yeah. I wasn't here, unfortunately.
You even missed the snow.
I missed the snow. How could you? Oh man. Well, we didn't get the snow this year, but it was bloody cold. But it's been good. Zweli, haribu. You know, we spoke about, we have different kinds of wellness.
Yes.
What is financial wellness? Let's simplify it for our people.
Okay, so financial wellness, I think it's the ability for a person to actually afford their lifestyle. Financial wellness has to do with spending less than what you're currently earning as a person. So it's making sure that you're not spending your entire income. And financial wellness is also a good vehicle to good financial freedom and wealth creation as well. So most of the things that actually impact our finances, they also have an impact on our lifestyle. Mm-hmm. If you don't manage your finances well, it will definitely cause you stress, and it does impact in your relationships as well, either with your colleagues, your family members, or your loved ones. You will get impacted. So I think financial wellness is something that we take lightly, but it impacts a lot of things. Even some causes of divorces, it's because of financial wellness, because people don't want to open up about their finances. So financial wellness is very, very key. We almost have to look at it as much as we look at our health as well. Thank you.
You know, the one thing about sitting with financial advisors is that they will tell you not to spend your money. You guys. They will tell you. You guys will tell. I think if it's one thing I will remember when we finish this program, is that ningadli mali yami.
We're not saying don't eat your money. Eat it, but don't finish it. Leave some for tomorrow.
Right?
Yeah,
I think that's important though.
very.
You know?
Very.
Prabi,
Yes.
we've been doing this program for months now.
Yes.
Right. And this program is called Financial Literacy.
Literacy, yeah.
Right. I want us to talk about the difference between the two. Because
Yeah.
there's financial literacy and then there's
And financial
financial wellness.
wellness,
You know,
yeah.
so that we bring understanding on what financial wellness is as opposed to the literacy part.
And I think it's very important because, as you've said, we've been doing this for quite a while. So for those that have been following, I'm going to specifically start with you. So you've been getting the knowledge, and that is financial literacy. Now, when we get to financial wellness, is what are you doing with the knowledge that you've been getting?
Right.
Because the knowledge that you have needs to be implemented. It needs to move you to setting goals and say, you know what, I want to get out of debt.
Yes.
So I've been getting this financial literacy around how to manage my debt, how debt impacts my marriage, etc. Then the next step is to say, okay, let me set those goals, let me pursue it, and let me work towards achieving those financial goals so that I can be financially well.
Right.
All right, so financial wellness, you can say it's the result when you actually take financial literacy and you put it into action with the necessary discipline to achieve that wellness. For example, I don't know about others, but I know for me, Mokhabaka, it's been a challenge for a while, you know. No, look,
And Khanyadi Sama body is
yeah, it's coming, you know, and it's here. And I remember beginning of this year, I mean, I was checking out reels. I was getting all the literacy and information. And here's the important part.
Okay.
It's nothing different to what I did last year. Nothing different to every other year.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
So you're getting the literacy. The question is, what are you doing with it?
Uh-huh.
It needs to drive you to say, you know what? Here's my goals. I'm going to write them down. I want to reduce my debt. I want to start building a savings habit. I want to do a will. You understand? So I want to be financially free. I want to experience financial wellness.
Yeah, right.
I don't want when payday comes, there's that one SMS, you're doing your one happiness, and then there's this twing, 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 twing of other SMSs that now come, you understand? But working towards financial wellness, using financial literacy, which we've been sharing, you know, and for those that are seeing this program for the first time, it means that when Fondaga, you start implementing already what you're getting.
Right.
Yeah.
I like how you said we must write our goals down.
Yeah.
You know, because we must also remember. Banabama 2000 wa manifest. Manifest. Me harabue about financial independence in relation to financial financial wellness.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So we consider you to be financially independent if you are able to generate and manage your money.
Generate
And manage
and manage.
your money.
Right.
And I mean, I understand that cost of living is very high in South Africa.
Very
And generally, 2 or more than 1 incomes in a household is better than 1
Yes.
at this point. Hey, I could do myself with an additional income.
How na gana remove it in it together.
Ke nagana jwalo. You know? But if there are certain things you are unable to do on your own,
Right.
and you depend on someone else's salary to supplement the things that you want, then you are not financially independent.
I want us to say it again. That's a very important thing.
Yeah.
I think that should be engraved in our heads. If
there are certain things
Uh-huh.
that you cannot do on your own,
yes,
and you rely on somebody else's income to supplement yours so that you can do the things that you like to do, then you are not a financially independent person. So, for instance, you can't buy a house on your own. You know, and I mean, it's normal to buy a house on your own. It's a big asset. you want a 2 million rand house, it's easier to qualify for that property when it's me and my partner
Right.
or Kinale Auswaka than when you are on your own. It's easy, it's perfect, I buy it.
Right.
However, if you would not be in a position to buy the 2 million rand property on your own, you have a problem. You are not financially independent.
As a follow-up, that would then mean I would need to work on my budget plan.
Absolutely.
I'm educated, Shem.
You can
Kim
do
Oteng,
this.
Shem. Kim Oteng.
You are manifesting.
I think that's a very important
Yeah,
thing.
yeah, and not only dependence on another individual, but if you also dependent on loans.
Aha.
Hey.
You're an adult, ne? But how na idea how you do like machines.
Hey.
Okay.
But you are carrying on, you are living life. That's not financial independence.
Because also I can't ha idea ka isimonna.
Eh.
I can't make my own personal decisions.
About your money.
That's a tough one. Yeah. I think it's a reality check.
Yeah.
I think, you know, when you look at it, you are able to say that's a reality check in terms of where I am as a person and my goals.
Yeah.
Let's speak about the goals a little bit.
Okay.
Prabi, what kind of goals would I derive, or, you know, what would constitute my financial goals if I'm working towards my financial wellness?
Okay. All right. I think it's important that when you look at goals, you mustn't do it in isolation of everything that consists of that is in your space.
Uh-huh.
Your family, for example, I'm married.
Okay.
If I'm going to put down financial goals, it can't just be me, Benny.
Right.
Because there are people that are dependent upon my income, and fortunately, there's another income I've got. Yeah, fortunately, you know.
There's
But we must
benefits.
still manage. You must still manage.
Right?
Yeah, so you look at the family, you know, in the previous episodes, there was a discussion around somebody being married and is a breadwinner. So you need to put everything together and then go in and say, okay, what are my financial goals?
Right.
What is my top three? Let's start with top three. What is top three? Right now, what is top three? Maybe I'll take your example to say my ID is there by my choice. So I'll write that down because it's a serious pain point. You know, I want to reduce, let's call it machonisa. Nah?
Yeah.
Number two, let's say I want a house for my family.
Right.
You know, maybe that can be a bit long-term, Anyana.
Right.
Because you need to first fix some of the, you know, your credit worthiness. I think you touched on credit
And the
worthiness in the
machonisa
previous.
issues.
You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
And then you start working on that. Then from there, you draw a budget.
Okay.
You draw a budget because a budget is going to help you to ensure that you're spending money in the areas that will help you to achieve your financial goals, for you to get to financial wellness.
So I can't arrive at financial wellness if, one, I don't have a budget plan.
Yes.
Two, if I don't have my goals in
There we
place.
go.
Okay.
There we go.
Okay.
There we go. Because you set goals, and then goals can't just be goals, and every year, like some other guy I know, Benny, every year is like, this year I'm going for that six-pack. Next year, this year I'm going for this. But action there needs to be an action plan, and you need to be able to hold yourself accountable. And that's what a budget is. A budget says, okay, I'm going to spend money. How am I going to spend it? I'm going to maybe pay extra towards my chonisa when I can. Maybe reduce some of my spending so that I can pay extra, so that eventually I can attain that goal where I can have my own ID.
Yes.
You understand what I'm saying? And
Yes.
start working towards my credit worthiness. So a budget will be the tool that you will use to connect your goal to your financial wellness.
Right. Oswini, the day-to-day finances, and Brabi touched on the budget plan, right? Let's speak about the day-to-day finances that lead me to financial wellness. Yes.
So there has been research that has been done previously that a main cause of stress in South Africa, which is part of wellness as well, is financial, issues,
Yes.
especially amongst couples. Biggest contributor to absenteeism at work as a result of stress is financial.
Finances.
So if you look at it, chelete, money, is carrying our lives. That's just the essence of it.
There's a Bible scripture that says, "Money answereth all things."
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. You see how deep it is.
Yeah.
So basically, what Brabi has said now is that you cannot hit the same spot all the time and every time expect different results. That is insanity. Ke bohlanya. So your day-to-day has to speak to what is it that I'm going to. And if there's this bird, I don't know what do they call this bird, but it sits on a tree and then it starts doing this woodpecker. Yeah.
Yes.
Can you see how it operates? It's
Yeah.
a strategic action.
Right.
Because it hits this way and it hits this way, that's how you need to look at your day-to-day managing of your finances. If ubona hore this month, man, I didn't do things proper, how yet say he saw shift on the other side. So it's all about that management of your day-to-day towards your financial wellness. I get it, you want financial wellness so that you are free of stress and everything. So try different things and don't do that. Like, to make an example, every month you get paid and you go out with your friends and you go from Friday until Sunday. Okay, which is nothing wrong. If you are a person who likes to go out from Friday to Sunday, really there's nothing wrong with that. However, if by the end of the month, before month end finishes, you're already borrowing from Paul to pay Peter, that means somewhere balance because ayikho. Uyabo? So now what needs to happen is that you say, okay, let me do things differently. Instead of going from Friday to Sunday these 4 weekends, let me go 2 weekends and see what will happen. It's just a practical example. So that's a day-to-day sort of maneuvering that you have to do yourself as a person so that you can achieve financial wellness.
Sometimes borrowing from Paul to pay Peter. Peter is 6-pack.
Hey, yabo.
Me? In point form, let's speak to the financial barriers that women need to break through. And I want us to speak particularly to women because I think there are critical challenges that women face, when it comes to financial independence and financial wellness as a whole. We take it for granted that we are all okay. When I go to work and I enter the building and I've been able to get to work, people think isinkos khona endlini, yabo. But and there's a reason why we call certain people breadwinners. There's a reason why women look after so much and so many families and there's so many responsibilities on them. So I want us to speak about the barriers that we need to break through as women in us achieving financial wellness.
Yeah. Sure, that's a topic I'm very passionate about. And I mean, considering in South Africa, most households are held by single women.
Mothers.
Single women. That's something we can't run away from. And I think for me, there's a lot of barriers. I think one for me is self-promotion. As women, we don't promote ourselves enough. There's in corporate, there's issues like gender pay gap.
Right.
Where men earn more than women in the same positions, delivering the same results. It happens. Today in South Africa, on average, 25% of women are in senior positions in corporate. and yes, there's a lot of legacy transformation issues leading up to that. But I can tell you now, the biggest barrier is that as women, we don't speak up for ourselves.
That's true.
We don't stand up for ourselves.
That's true.
You know, a position will be advertised, a CEO position will be advertised. As a woman, qualified, experienced, I will doubt myself to even apply for that position. Yet a man will not think twice. A man who is not even qualified. O tla bona ko pele. You know?
That is
Yes. That's what men do. And as women, we don't promote ourselves. So we need to learn how to promote ourselves so that we can achieve financial independence. And men, teach us. Teach us how to promote ourselves. The same way that you do. But we don't do that enough. So as women, there's women that have made it. Teach those that haven't. Go for it. Go for a course. Go push yourself. Study so that you can be in the same position and that you are financially independent.
There's a principle that I learned, and I will keep talking about it. We had the Industrial Entrepreneur Week in the Free State with Katabo Group. And in that, one of our moderators was Tumelo Chaka, who's from the FNB, actually. And Tumelo said he was at an international conference. And that's where he learned this thing, where it was said that when a man has learned 20% of the job, 20% of the job, he walks in confidently and says, I can do the work. And he says, women wait until they know how to do 120% of the work before they start taking up and saying, I'm able to do the work. And this is why statistically, men take executive positions, but they always have a woman to do the work. Because the woman knows how to implement what the man is actually supposed to be doing. And he was reflecting that on the basis that even in meetings in a boardroom, women keep quiet, right? And then Uzweli Uzoti, you know, he then speaks and it's in the meeting confidently. And he says, no. In my unit, we were talking and Umivuyo said. So you pick up that it's actually not Zweli's original idea. This thing was said by Mivuyo in the unit meeting, but Zweli's taking it forward because Mivuyo can't stand up and say, I have a concept. And so I'm saying this because I learned then that we fail as women to do what you're saying. To speak up for ourselves, to say I'm able, to say, well, like you're saying, you know, and I think it's a challenge, in fact, that women should take up to say, no, it's okay. It's okay for me to be in that position. It's okay for me to own up to the work. It's okay for me to... Also, it's okay for me to earn that salary.
Yes.
Actually,
Absolutely.
you know.
Absolutely.
Actually.
Also,
Absolutely.
right? It's also very okay for me to earn that salary because Raifeila.
Absolutely.
Because after all, when all has been said and done, all the standing up, all the fighting, all the raising your hand leads to that, which is your salary pay at the end, which then leads to your financial wellness. So you see where it comes from. By just virtue of you sitting down, you are shutting yourself from an opportunity of experiencing financial wellness eventually.
Yeah, no, we must start speaking.
Yeah.
Benny, when we spoke about financial planning, we spoke about risk tolerance, right? Today, I want us to introduce another risk, which is risk protection. What is risk protection?
Okay. Right. I think if I can make a simple example, risk protection, let's say you've got a business investment, there's an investment. So to protect the investment from going sour, you then protect that risk where should it go sour, you've protected that risk.
Right.
As an example, yeah.
So, and I want us to simplify it. So, I have a business that, let's say I have a mobile business, right? I am into cars. I rent my cars and I want to protect them, right? So what would I do in that instance? If I have my assets would be vehicles and
Okay.
right.
Okay. All right. So one, there would be the insurance that you would use for the vehicles.
Right.
Okay? But also, I think another one that is very important, let's say you are the business owner and you've taken a loan, a business loan, there's a certain amount of loan on the business. All right? So one thing that's also important is also to take a life cover for yourself, protecting the business should something happen to you, at least, the business can continue.
Right. Okay.
And all those debts that the business has taken as well.
Auswini. Oh, you may go.
Just to add on my colleague, what he also said, and I think when it comes to risk, we don't realize that the potential of you not being in a position to earn your salary is a risk.
The potential
Of you not being able to earn your salary. So you go to work, you just, misstep,
yes.
you fall,
Yes.
you crack your head, and all of a sudden they say there's a brain, whatever, all of a sudden you are like
Bedridden.
yeah.
Right.
And you were working as a teacher, teaching children, so it means you can't work as a teacher anymore. So that's the risk that is always, risk is always there. You cannot,
Yes.
it can't say tomorrow I'm coming, I'm risk and I'm coming. It's just as you walk.
I like that.
Yeah, it can't really
Ke
tell
now.
you. Ke now, ke a tla,
Eh,
be ready.
untjhebe.
Untjhebe hantle, ke tla be se ke fihla ke etsa so,
Ke
wa bona?
yes.
No, it doesn't happen. Like, it's inevitable. It's just around us. So the potential of you running into something that can stop you earning a salary is imminent. It's just here. It's just a misstep away. So you need to protect yourself against that eventuality. So that if that happens, then okay, I just call my financial advisor because I had taken that life cover that has a disability cover and also has income included in that. While I'm recovering, then there's income. Then my debts are still paid because that will influence your wellness now, financially now. So it's very important for us to look at that in that sense as well and just round it off. When it comes to business also, I'm actually having an event that's going to cover the very same thing next week.
Right.
So what happens is that as a business owner, me and you, Lerato, we are having a business.
Yes.
And now all of a sudden, something happens to me and I, unfortunately, mudimu wampitsa.
Right.
We've got 50% share.
Right.
What normally happens is that my family will come in the business and claim the shares.
Right.
So all of a sudden, now you're owning a business with inexperienced people. Now it's a
Right.
problem for you. Now the
Right.
business starts going down and eventually you're forced to close
Right.
and just taking your losses. But had you had a life cover on my life, you would have used the proceeds to then buy them off. And then you keep 100% of the business shares. Then business continues. So that's very important when it comes to SMMEs and small businesses and entrepreneurs. That's called buy and sell agreements, things that we can put in place in an event of risks.
Hey man, you are raising very critical issues. Because I also, and as an SMME owner, I'm also reflecting that on myself, right? Gore, ha ke seo lerato a seo, go tshwantse go diragale, right? But I want us to just extend this conversation of Sweeney and speak about protecting your loved ones also. Because I protecting myself,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And then there's protecting my business. Let's speak about protecting my loved
Yeah.
ones. How do I then extend this to protecting my loved ones?
So if you know, like I said, death is death. Accident is accident. So, for instance, in my family, let's say last week I buried my grandfather, by the way. So one of my, he's the last in that generation. So should something happen like that, nobody has 30,000, 50,000 lying around, but the thing has to happen. And we know how our families are around that subject. They have to have this send off. So protecting your loved ones also ensures that in the eventuality of a event like that, you don't find yourself having to go to Mashonisa to incur more debt in order to do the right thing. So you'd had to now protect them against that risk. And it's rather easier for you to pay the premiums of 250 per month rather than to pay an interest of from 30,000. So some people don't look at it that way. They feel like, no, but why should I take an insurance? These people, what if as Ashwi, for all these years and taking batal, you know, all of these things that they barriers that they try to put in. But the issue is, it is riskier for you and more headache for you if the event happens and you are not in a position to do the right thing. So rather take them in small portions, even if it's 30 years before they die. But you know, when they die or something happens, there will be something for you to contribute to do the right thing. So it's very important to protect our loved ones in that way.
Hareboa, re tlo go tsweletsa kgang e ya gauswini ya lefu la ka la mphidisa e. Ka gore kana go tsela ke re that's how we call it.
That's how stigmatized it is. Yeah.
Ha re le go gae oh, wa batwa go casha in policy. But we do not look at the importance and how that money is able to ensure that life continues for my family.
Yeah, absolutely.
So we will be right back. Grab that coffee and stay in those warm blankets and make sure that we continue this conversation.
Good day, everybody. My name is Benny Mvala, and I'm from Standard Bank, and I'm so excited that we are part of this awesome program that the MEC Treasury is running in the province. Today we were talking about savings, and I must say it is very important that in our families, as individuals, as families, as communities, that we start building a savings culture. Because remember, whatever that you're not going to save for, you're going to have to find an alternative way to finance it. So let's start building that savings culture. Let's start saving if you're going on vacation. Start saving for when you need to go fix that pothole damage on your car. For whatever the reason is, let's have a go and build a savings culture that our children can have something that they can work on. Thank you.
Re buile re santse re le hano ha olwazini ha ba santse ba re tshwere sentle bra benu fetsa go kopa kofi ya kere ba rile ba re batla re direla yona. Now, just before the break, re bua kgang ya risk protection
that the MEC Treasury
and
is
how
running in the
to
province.
protect our
Today
loved
we're
ones.
talking about savings, and I
Re
must
bua
say,
kgang
it
ya
is very important
lefu
that
le le
in our
mphidisang akere.
families, as individuals,
Now,
as families, as
Zweli,
communities, that
let's
we
talk
start
about
building a savings
the touchy
culture, because
subject
remember,
of
whatever that you're not
the
going to
amount
save
of
for,
money
you're going
we
to have
spend
to
on
find
funerals.
an alternative way to finance
Sure.
it. So let's start building that savings culture.
Look,
let's start
I
saving if
think
you're going on
we've all
vacation.
seen,
Start
as
saving for
Africans,
when you need to go fix
because,
that pothole
Africans spend
damage
more
on
on
your
funerals
car.
than any
For
other
whatever
cultures.
the reason is,
I
let's have a
mean, for
go
us,
and
the
build
day
a
they
savings
announce
culture
ukuthi
that our
Babukula
children
Kasekho,
can have
you
something
start
that they
spending
can
on
work
that
on.
particular day.
Thank you.
Because family members will need to travel, they'll need to come through, you start spending. Skalibale dikuku, when people come through, you are the one who has a dilemma, but people are already expecting you to actually cater for them. So funerals can be very, very expensive, and if you're not adequately insured, it can actually leave a big hole in your pocket.
And Benny, I guess it's one of the sensitive issues, let's call it sensitive for a lack of a better word. It's this one of the sensitive issues that leads us also to debt. Right?
Yeah.
That we do not necessarily consider.
Yeah.
right?
True.
Because that, like you said, it's money that families spend without us considering the fact that the person who passed on may be the breadwinner. Right?
Yeah.
So that could be the touchiest subject, let's put it that way. That this person could be the breadwinner. They're gone.
No.
There's a gap. I want us to extend the conversation. Prabi, if you could come in and start speaking about teaching our children saving.
Oh, yes.
Because re bua ka tšhelete as bagolo. Ga nke re bua ka tšhelete as bagolo le bana in families.
Yeah.
And our children, half of the time, don't even know how the household
Yeah.
functions financially.
True.
Let's bring our children
Yeah,
into
no,
the picture.
absolutely. I think, Lorat, let's start here. Nah?
Okay.
It's your money.
Okay.
It's your money. Let's start. It's your money. So I understand them, teaching them, and I'll get to them. But number one, it's your money.
Okay.
They're eating your money. So you want them, when they eat your money, they must at least do it properly, and they must learn, not just waste it. Why? Because if you do not teach the little ones, the young ones, how to manage money, it's just going to be this vicious cycle. When they are now older, whatever habits that they had when they were young, look, when we do financial literacy, say, to the young people in school, we say, there is no magic that happens when you get your first paycheck. There's no magic that's going to happen when you get your paycheck. There's this magical transformation. You'll be the super saiyan that just knows how to manage money. So it starts when you're young.
Right.
And it's about building that culture. And I think it could be such a great legacy that you can leave behind. If you can teach them just to build that culture. When you say, if I give you 10 Rand or 20 Rand, look, it doesn't matter how much. The principal thing is about the habit. That every money that you're going to get is not for you to eat. I mean, today you can have a banking account for a child from as young as from birth. I opened my daughter's, I was just excited to be a father, and hey, I opened that bank account already. You understand? Because I was
Yes.
excited to start a new culture, to start a new habit.
Right.
You understand? Because I understand and I believe with all my heart that my children are going to be successful. They're going to be millionaires. They're going to be
Yes.
to
Better.
achieve far better than me.
Right.
So if they're going to achieve that, they need to be able to manage finances. So when I'm teaching this person today, I'm not just teaching them to save, okay, because that's where it starts. I can't teach them now about debt. I can teach them simply around saving. To me, I'm teaching the next millionaire.
Yes.
I'm teaching the next millionaire.
Yes.
Not the one that's going to be on I blew it. Please. No. Look, the one that's going to be... No. I'm talking about the one that's going to be on those social media reels,
Yes.
Yeah, that one, and that's how we need to see it. We need to see our children as not just children. We need to see them as these are carriers, people that are going to continue whatever that you're going to leave behind. So if you're not going to start teaching them, you're actually robbing yourself. Because they will be able to make what you have to last much longer. All right, so it starts very simple. Here's 20 Rand, Nana. You need to put away something for tomorrow.
Right.
You don't eat everything today.
Right. Aha.
But I think that's where it starts. And if you look at business people that are very successful, they do it, and the reason they do it is because they understand that this child is going to inherit the business.
Yes.
You understand?
Yes.
Yes, well, they already know what the child is going to inherit. Rona, I know you're going to be a millionaire. I may not have the business to live for you, but I know you're going to be a millionaire.
Right.
So I want you to start today, start working like that millionaire that's going to have a lot of money, that's going to know how to manage finances. And that's very critical. Believe it or not,
Right.
believe it or not, in primary schools, okay, children are borrowing money from each other.
That is very true.
Listen,
That is
watch it.
That is
Watch
very
it.
true.
Watch it. They're already borrowing money. They're borrowing money.
That is very true.
Mataka, give me,
Get me 5 randa.
5 randa. I'll give you tomorrow because why? Mommy gives me 10 rand every day.
Right.
So already they're smart. They think, okay, I can borrow 5 rand because tomorrow, when mommy gives me 10 rand, I'll be able to pay back that 5 rand. But now tomorrow I'm going to have 5 rand. And if I couldn't manage the 10 rand yesterday, how am I going to manage this 5 rand today? Now I need to borrow another one. And then it becomes that vicious cycle. So we need to really start teaching them, because once these habits start getting where they're spending everything they get, they're not saving, they're even borrowing money. You understand? I mean, can you imagine those habits in a 25-year-old, a 30-year-old with a salary?
And sometimes they'll come to you for more money. And the other risk that you're living is, if you're adequately insured, is all those policies or all those assets will be left with them. If they can't manage the 10 rand,
Hey.
you will definitely see them when I blow it.
Yeah, true. Because the difference is just the zeros.
Phew. Yeah, no. Right? So, in one of the episodes, I met Tasneem from Nedbank, who taught me a new concept for children that I have now adopted for my household. She says, so at my house there's a cappy that stays on top of the fridge.
Okay.
The cappy is for tuck money.
Okay.
And the young lady who pays rent by closing the curtains at my house knows, yeah, everybody must pay rent.
Yes.
So she knows that the money in the cappy must be managed. She knows how much she takes on a daily basis. If she has changed, the change must come back to the cappy, and then she will take it tomorrow. She knows. So she knows how to manage the money. But now I have learned
Yes.
that there must be 3 cappies on top of my fridge.
Okay.
There must be a savings cappy.
Uh-huh.
There must be there's a savings cappy, there's a spending cappy, and there's a sharing cappy. Because we must teach them to save, we must teach them to share, because it can't always be for you. And then we must then teach them to spend.
Right.
So you can't go into the savings when you're
Okay.
supposed to be in the expenditure cappy. And you can't, if you want to share with your friends, you go into the sharing cap.
Sharing cap.
So now there must be 3 cappies. Correct.
Lovely.
Zweli, let's
Yes.
talk about savings for university young men and women.
Okay.
Because their life is carefree.
Yes.
Those people have money.
Yes.
Money gets sent from home,
Yes.
and then there's money. Like, yeah, bona. Then there's money. I won't talk about the other money, right? But there's money circulating in that market. Let's talk about that money.
Yeah. So, one of the biggest challenges that we have is we do not get financial education at a young age. So when you get to varsity, you now get your independence.
Sure.
You are now away from your parents. They now have to give you money. And in a way, you are dependent on them to give you the money. But if they give you a certain amount of money, you now start to have expectations. You will now start making commitments amongst your circle based on those funds. So I think it will also go back to what Prapi mentioned, to say we need to teach them on how to manage their finances at a young age. So to such a point that when they get to varsity, they already know how they're actually going to use their money. Even when you give them a certain allowance, they know that I'm actually saving this in case they don't give me on the particular date that they promised me. So I think that's some of the challenges that we experienced, because we were never taught how to manage money. You go to varsity, they send you the money. If you didn't get accommodation, you need to pay your rent, you need to buy your groceries, you also need to take care of yourself there. So it does
And transport money sometimes.
Yes, and it does become a challenge. So you find yourself every week or every month you're asking for more, because you are failing to manage what you've been given. But if you understand how money works, you can actually just say, you know what, this is what I can afford. Do I need to actually stay near the university? Or do I need to stay further away because it's a bit affordable, and then just travel? Or is travel going to be more expensive? So those are some of the things that you actually need to look at, even at a young age, to say, yes, I'm in university, yes, I'm getting such an allowance or such a stipend, but how do I actually spend this money economically?
Me? We want to build financially healthy young women, right? It's a very important thing.
Yeah.
But I want us to talk to teaching young girls and young women financial planning. You know, how do we go about that?
I want to build on what Prabi has just said. You know, talk to them about money.
Okay.
Involve them.
Involve them.
Involve them in how their household works. Exactly what you just said. So they must know there's a bond. They must know what is a bond.
Yes.
I hear you.
Hey, they must know when our interest rate annual, they must know what that means for our household.
Right.
Hey, involve them and demonstrate. It's one thing to, kids do as you do, not as you say.
Yes.
So you can teach them and speak, but they must
Bawushebile.
they must see you in how you handle money. So demonstrate how to manage money. I've got a 16-year-old daughter.
When?
Hey,
Please, man. Please don't come on the show and you're lying to our viewers. Wait. Right? Live. Pardon.
I promise
No.
you. And so if anything was to happen to me today, I can tell you my daughter will assume my role, will know what needs to be paid for, where the income is going to come from. She knows. Today, there's debit orders that go off her account. You know, so I've put our Netflix account, for an example, goes off her account. It's just to teach her the concept of the debit order, and so she will tell me, "Mommy, the debit order, yeah, Netflix is coming. Please make sure there's money on my account." You know, she needs to understand you can't have a bounced debit order.
Right. Right.
So demonstrate. That is how we can build a healthy young women society. Yeah.
And I guess it goes with discipline also. Because from your side, Luena, so for her to learn that debit order yadzwa, Luena, you must then, so you can't Luena, uje chelete ya debit order ya gagwe.
Exactly. I can't now say isha iyo. How kanjani?
For real, she'll ask you that you know the kids these days.
Yeah. How? She'll say how?
My daughter, when she was 6, she would say, "You really don't have money, mommy?"
Like, for real?
How?
Yeah, that's a norm, baby.
Because how na tjhelete? Yeah. Also, Arabueka long-term and short-term approaches to financial wellness.
Yeah. So when you look at the long-term approach to it, I think I can tie it up with your long-term goals. What is it that in a long term you'd want to achieve? So one of the examples that I'll make of a long-term goal is retirement.
Right.
I mean, we in our 40s, in our 30s now, but at one stage there is an older version of you waiting for you in the future. And the question is what you are doing now going to serve that person? Will they be proud of the current you now? So it needs to then, your goals speak to that person who is in the future and 65 years old, already in retirement. What sort of an income are they earning? What are their debts looking like? Because they should have consolidated at that time. So there's your goals right there. And then obviously your short term would then speak to the steps that you need to take right now in order to achieve those long-term goals. So if I have to tie it to financial wellness and the wellness of being, it's really just to be organized as an individual and know yourself. What is it that you want? Really live your life according to yourself. Cut your coat according to your size. Do not try to keep up with the Joneses next door, because really we don't know how they achieve their goals. So it's really useless to keep up with something that you don't know. And going back to the short term, earlier on one of my colleagues mentioned something that reminded me that you cannot fix what you don't know relating to the budget. If you don't know how you are spending your money, you will not be in a position to fix that which needs to be fixed. It's like you having a blindfold and you're just driving in the dark to nowhere. So have that in place in terms of knowing yourself, what is it that you want, and then place your goals properly. And then your financial wellness, you will experience it, because it is an experience at the end of the day. Yeah.
I want us to run to a quick break. When we come back, we're closing this conversation, because as important as it is, we still have more conversations to have about financial wellness, planning, health, and just the overall look on how you should be. Stay with us.
My name is Tumelo Martin. I make sure that I budget first. After budgeting, I pay my children's school fees. I pay for my rents, and kids abonete ba hore ke bile le dikoloto. Then I take the loan for dintho tse important like cars and then if like I'm paying for my bond now and my loan for a car. Then I give it koloto tse ding ka mora moo, and I show you at least 80% of my salary it goes to my investments.
Ke rona ba re buile. We are enjoying the conversation. We are at Olwazini. Re tswile di auti go monatenyana, re bona kwa le kwa, ra tshwara ra tlogela. We are talking to you about financial wellness today. It's been a very informative conversation. I'd like us to wrap it up though. Go na le mabakanyana ke re here. O itse re tlile maboneng re batla go tshwaranyana mabaka here. Akere Prabi, let's speak about the science to financial wellness. How do I know gore ke mo tseleng the correct one?
Or mo tseleng to the correct ones. Biki by biki, step by step.
Okay.
All right. Don't expect a big thing to say you're gonna make one adjustment in your budget and then next month here you are. It's all great. So let's leave microwave solution. How do you know you're on the right path, like you're saying?
Right.
You've outlined your goal. You've gone through 1 month, even if it's just 1 month. You've written down what you're going to cut in your budget. You've written down maybe what you're going to pay extra for. And then just 1 month where you've at least managed to do what you wrote down. And then from there you build on it. You've started on that path.
Right.
And I'm telling you, it is so motivating. It is so motivating. I can maybe just quickly share. I was looking, interest rates are not our greatest friends.
Right.
Currently. So I'm always looking, always budgeting, always trying to see where's the gap. And I remembered, hey, I haven't reviewed my vehicle insurance last year. So I called them yesterday, believe it or not. Called them yesterday. Called them, I said, hey, please, let's talk English here. I'd like to review my insurance. Because I was looking at my goals and I was looking at my budget. I was like, where can I get a quick win?
Yes.
And I've saved just about 700 and something rand. Sure. And that's something I'm going to experience next month.
Right.
So now I'm motivated.
Yes.
So now I'm going to take the 700, either two options I could save, or two I can maybe tackle a smaller nyana debt.
Yes.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
And then if next month comes and I commit to that, I know how much extra I'm going to have, so I commit to that and I go for it and I kill it. You understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
Because I already know which one I'm going for.
Yes.
And I
You have a
know
goal.
after August, I am now going to have even more money.
Yes.
You understand what I'm saying? So it
Yes.
starts with just one. Just take one. Eventually you will get there. Just take one and start from there. I mean, like, it's not every day you get guys that just hooks up, hey, baby, I love you. You know, but there's a tech. There's a tech. Okay, it's not a great tech, but I mean, you know, but I think, yeah, you know, just to put some.
There must be momentum.
Yeah, momentum. I get it. But hey, here you are falling from the sky here. Okay, I'm kidding, but just take one. Write down your goals. Put it in action using your budget. Go for it. Execute it. And the rewarding will be, I've done it, I've started my journey, and that's how we go.
Beautiful.
Thank you.
Let's also advise our couples quickly. Because we have individual and then we have couples who are working towards financial wellness. Advise them quickly.
So financial wellness for couples is very important because it influences children as well.
Yeah.
Right.
And it influences the third parties, which is our families. So earlier on, last week, we spoke about marriage. And one of the subjects that was brought in is that let's communicate the fact that we have to help the third parties outside the marriage because it can influence our wellness. Imagine now if finances have to be the cause of us fighting and ultimately separating. So communication in that case, that's the advice that I can give.
Communication.
Communicate.
Siswini speaks about children, which is a very important element, right? Now, let's advise mothers on financial tips for children and just accomplishing financial wellness with our children.
I think I want to say, take charge.
Yeah.
You know, and lead by example. Take charge and lead by example, and teach our girls to do the same. They will do what you do. If they see you as laid back, they're gonna grow up as laid back. Let's raise a generation of women that can speak up for themselves.
Yes.
That can stand up for themselves, and it starts with us today.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Nice.
Zweli, these free-spirited souls in university who are spending willy-nilly, they're happy and kiddie birka weekend here and there, kiddie movie, kiddie. Let's speak to them about savings tips, because we want them to. We want to grow a financially independent and healthy generation. When they get their first employment,
Yes.
they must not now start planning here when they get first employment. Let's give them tips on just leading a financially well life.
Thanks for that. I think for me, what they need to do is to plan well. When they plan their goals with their careers or whatever subjects or diplomas or degrees they do in school, they must also do the same with their finances. To say, in 3 years I want to have achieved this, also do the same for your finances. In 3 years I want to do this, right? Mind you, they are still dependent on their parents for now, or NFSAS if that's the case, but later on they will not be depending on anyone. How are they going to manage that source of income that they'll be generating? So they need to plan well, they need to manage their money well, and put controls in place to manage that. That's all.
Yeah.
So the same effort that they're putting to say, I'm going to study 3 hours for this, I'm going to spend so much time doing this for finances. So they just need to replicate what they're doing with their academics, with their finances.
Amen.
Beautiful. Re buile go lekane. Ra lo leboga gore le bo lo tlhotse le rona lo re reditse re rutana re gola mmogo. We want, we wish, we hope to grow, build, structure lives financially, and of course ensure that our people are financially independent and they're financially healthy. Ga re tlhole re batla a workforce in this country that is stressed, that has mental health issues, because we are not attending to the critical things that we should be looking after, the things that matter the most, the things that change our children's lives. E re ha ke tsoga ka moswa ke seo bana ke ba sa itse gore ba ja eng ba dira eng go iwa kae. Let us be responsible parents, single or not, married or not. Let us take charge of what is important in our lives. I am Lorato Khomolemo. Thank you for joining us as we continue to count rands and cents, those that matter the most, that go to our children and that build futures. Salang sentle bagolo.